Welcome to Social Aloe Ministries, where we are committed to glorifying God while exposing the devil. Please join me in telling the enemy that what happened last time is not going to happen again. What happened last time, it's going to be different the next time around. One of the things that contributes to perpetrators going down is when they feel as if because they got away with it the last time, that they can try again the next time. And it's going to be just like before, where he or she can do anything he or she pleases and nothing's going to happen. But the game changer, to ensure that it doesn't go like how it did the time before, is to ensure that you solidify your relationship with Christ. Yes, he is the game changer. He's the one that's going to make the battle different the next time around. And we see an example of this when the Israelites, they successfully conquered Jericho because their relationship with the Lord was where it needed to be. The Lord gave them some instructions and they followed the instructions. Well, at least heading into Jericho. But in Joshua 7, starting verse 1, but the children of Israel committed a trespass in the accursed thing. For Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, took of the accursed thing, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against the children of Israel. Going in, the Lord gave Joshua some instructions. Joshua related to the rest of the Israelites. And one of the things was not to touch or take certain things from Jericho. They're supposed to destroy them. But Achan, he went rogue, so to speak, and did his own thing. And Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is besides Beth-aven on the east side of Bethel, and spake unto them, saying, Go up and view the country. And the men went up and viewed Ai. And they returned to Joshua and said unto him, Let not all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up and smite Ai, and make not all the people to labor thither, for they are but a few. When the Israelites left Egypt, they were numbered at 600,000 men. But this was 40 years later. So we can assume that the numbers increased. So out of at least 600,000 men, they basically said 2,000 to 3,000 would suffice. And I believe their assessment. However, because Achan took the accursed things, that could make a difference. And it continues. So there went up thither of the people about 3,000 men, and they fled before the men of Ai. That doesn't sound good. And the men of Ai smote of them about 36 men, for they chased them from before the gate, even to Shebarim, and smote them in the going down. Wherefore the hearts of the people melted and became as water. Joshua inquired of the Lord and later found out that it was Achan who took the accursed things, and that's the reason why the Lord allowed them to lose. So basically, they went into battle and the Lord was not with them. But they purged their ranks of Achan, his family, and his possessions. That's how committed they were to getting their relationship right with the Lord. And starting in Joshua chapter 8, verse 1. And the Lord said unto Joshua, Fear not, neither be thou dismayed. Take all the people of war with thee, and arise and go up to Ai. See, I have given into thy hand the king of Ai, and his people, and his city, and his land. And thou shalt do to Ai and her king as thou didst unto Jericho and her king. Only the spoil thereof and the cattle thereof shall ye take for a prey unto yourselves. Lay thee in ambush for the city behind it. So the rules of engagement were going to be different. They were following the Lord's instructions. You too, and as a part of having the relationship with the Lord, you'll be able to hear his instructions more clearly. And as a part of preserving the relationship with the Lord, you will follow his instructions. So Joshua arose and all the people of war to go up against Ai. And Joshua chose out 30,000 mighty men of valor and sent them away by night. And he commanded them, saying, Behold, ye shall lie in wait against the city, even behind the city. Go not very far from the city, but be ye all ready. They were laying in ambush. And I, and all the people that are with me, will approach unto the city, and it shall come to pass, when they come out against us, as at the first, that we will flee before them. So Joshua was strategizing. They were going to attack, retreat, expecting the inhabitants of Ai to fight as they did before, by pursuing the retreating army. So the enemy was going to employ the same tactic as before, expecting the same results. Not this time. For they will come out after us, till we have drawn them from the city, for they will say, They flee before us, as at first. Therefore, we will flee before them. So as a part of having a relationship with Christ, a lot of times after defeat, people pull away from the Lord. But that actually makes them more vulnerable to the enemy's attacks, to the enemy's counterattacks. Draw closer to him. It will make a difference in your battles. Then ye shall rise up from the ambush and seize upon the city, for the Lord your God will deliver it into your hand. And it shall be, when ye have taken the city, that ye shall set the city on fire, according to the commandment of the Lord shall ye do. See, I have commanded you. Joshua therefore sent them forth, and they went to lie in ambush, and abode between Bethel and Ai, on the west side of Ai. But Joshua lodged at night among the people. And Joshua rose up early in the morning, and numbered the people, and went up, and he and the elders of Ai, before the people of Ai. And all of the people, even the people of war that were with him, went up and drew nigh, and came before the city, and pitched on the north side of Ai. Now there was a valley between them and Ai. And he took about 5,000 men, and set them to lie in ambush between Bethel and Ai, on the west side of the city. In today's military terms, they'll talk about an L-shaped ambush. And when they had set the people, even all the host that was on the north of the city, and their lairs in wait on the west of the city, Joshua went that night into the midst of the valley. And it came to pass, when the king of Ai saw it, that they hasted and rose up early, and the men of the city went out against Israel to battle. And he and all his people, at a time appointed, before the plain, but he wist not that there were liers in ambush against him behind the city. One of the things about the enemy, after achieving a previous victory, the enemy usually gets confident. Usually think that he or she can just have his way. But again, what happened last time, it won't happen this time, or it won't happen the next time. And you may have also been in battles where you took a beating, so to speak, and that made the enemy more confident. Part of this is about staying humble. Staying humble. Goliath looked at David and thought he was no match. But that was the last fight he ever fought. And Joshua and all Israel made as if they were beaten before them and fled by the way of the wilderness. So they were feigning a retreat. And all the people that were in Ai were called together to pursue them. And they pursued after Joshua and were drawn away from the city. A part of this is knowing the rules of engagement that the Lord has set for you. So for example, if the Lord has you in a defensive position, so to speak, he may tell you not to pursue the enemy, or not to pursue the enemy beyond a certain point. And he knows why. Because sometimes the enemy is trying to draw you out into a fight. Sometimes the enemy is trying to make you come out of your character, so to speak, so that you start doing things that are out of character, that makes you look bad and also make God look bad in a sense. So you have to be careful. Ensure that you have the relationship with the Lord. Ensure that you're following his instructions. If he tells you to pursue, pursue. If he gives you a limit of advance, so to speak, do not go beyond that point. Because in some cases, the reason why the Lord may not have you pursue the enemy beyond a certain point is because he has other people who will take care of the enemy once they get back over that boundary. The Lord, he sees the big picture. He knows all. And it continues. And there was not a man left in Ai or Bethel that went not out after Israel, and they left the city open and pursued after Israel. That's also another reason why the Lord may not have you pursue beyond a certain point. Because if you do, you leave your back door open to the enemy's counterattack. And the Lord said unto Joshua, stretch out the spear that is in thy hand toward Ai, for I will give it into thine hand. And Joshua stretched out the spear that he had in his hand toward the city. And the ambush arose quickly out of their place, and they ran as soon as he had stretched out his hand, and they entered into the city, and took it, and hasted, and set the city on fire. And when the men of Ai looked behind them, they saw, and behold, the smoke of the city ascended up to heaven, and they had no power to flee this way or that way. And the people that fled to the wilderness turned back upon the pursuers. Another strategy of the enemy, get you to chase after him or her, and then turn back on you. So you may think that you're securing the victory, so to speak, but you're just putting yourself in a bad situation, away from your base of support. And when Joshua and all Israel saw that the ambush had taken the city, and that the smoke of the city ascended, they turned again and slew the men of Ai. And the other issued out of the city against them. So they were in the midst of Israel, some on this side and some on that side, and they smote them. And they that were left, none of them remain or escape. And the king of Ai they took alive and brought him to Joshua. And it came to pass, when Israel had made an end of slaying all the inhabitants of Ai in the field, in the wilderness, wherein they chased them, and when they were all fallen on the edge of the sword, until they that were consumed, that all the Israelites returned unto Ai, and smote it with the edge of the sword. Devastating effects. And so it was that all that fell that day, both men and women, were 12,000, even all the men of Ai. So they had sent, or the Israelites had sent 3,000 men to basically fight against 12,000 people. When you think about Gideon, he only had 300 men. But the odds were against them, at least numerically. But the Lord was with them, and it's all they needed. And continues, for Joshua drew not his hand back, wherewith he stretched out the spear until he had utterly destroyed all the inhabitants of Ai. Only the cattle and the spoil of that city Israel took for a prey unto themselves, according to the word of the Lord, which he commanded Joshua. And Joshua burnt Ai and made it a heap forever, even a desolation unto this day. And the king of Ai he hanged on a tree until eventide. And as soon as the sun was down, Joshua commanded that they should take his carcass down from the tree and cast it at the entering of the gate of the city, and raise thereon a great heap of stones that remaineth unto this day. So the inhabitants of Ai thought the next battle was going to go as the time before, but there were a lot of differences. And one of the key things, the Israelites repented, got rid of the accursed things and people from their ranks, and restored their relationship with the Lord, followed their instructions, and the Lord gave them the victory. If the enemy has had you against the ropes, so to speak, fear not. And in boxing terms, in a sense, do the rope-a-dope. And wait for the opening. So either you or the Lord can strike back. Sometimes it can be a very good thing when the enemy has had a victory or even a series of victories against you. Because that's when the enemy is going to get careless. And that's when the enemy is going to fall. But again, the secret weapon to all of this is having a relationship with Christ. God bless you.